Hi, everybody. Welcome to Spartan Sports Report. Another busy week, athletic-wise, at CHS, and our guest, Athletic Director Andrea Van Meter, will bring us up to date. Andrea?
Yeah, it is a busy week.
I'm here. Okay.
I'm here. Let's
survived.
go. It's Monday. Busy week. All teams will be competing this week: tennis, track, boys and girls, softball, baseball, and golf. So middle school and high school. So if you want to do something this week, come see us, because every night at home we've got something going on.
Is it girls tennis this, or is it boys this time?
Girls tennis.
Girls tennis.
Yeah, girls tennis in the spring and boys golf.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're also running a middle school girls tennis team, trying it out this spring, because a lot of the schools are trying to separate, with the middle school program, separate boys and girls golf and boys and girls tennis. So we're going to try it out and see how that goes. So, yes, lots of events this week, and it's just going to continue now through May. So
That's right, through until the end of May.
Yeah, May. Well, I would love to say May, but golf actually goes until June. So they actually play after. Their sectional doesn't happen until after graduation. So, and then, regionals are like the 9th or 10th or something. So it's a long ways away.
You keep your fingers crossed that the weather cooperates.
It's beautiful today.
It is.
I mean, did you bring that good weather in today,
I did. I brought that with me, yes.
Okay, I need that like the rest of this week, especially on Mondays and Thursdays when we have conference baseball.
Yeah.
Because those are really hard to reschedule, because you have to reschedule. You have to play 2 games, and you kind of run out of time with only so many weeks to play and 7 other teams to have to play. It makes it come tough. So.
And I remember last week after the show, you were on the horn with all the rain and everything. You're a busy woman.
Maybe.
Do you have to wear a name tag when you go home?
I should.
Yeah.
He'd probably be like, who are you again?
Yeah.
Do you live here?
Then you have to have the officials.
Yeah, so had a little mistake this morning. So when we combined our event link together, it used to be called Connorsville. Well, when we converged it, we put middle school and high school together. So now event link thinks Connorsville's an away meet because Connorsville Middle School is now home.
Yeah.
And so there's still a couple events that are showing up as away, but at our place. So, for example, tomorrow's JV girls softball game is home, but it was showing up as away, so I had to find officials. So I'm hoping I have one, and I'll try to work on the other one by tomorrow. So that's the toughest.
Does the middle school have the same schedule as the high school?
As far as what do you mean by that?
They they all play baseball, softball, and the other sports are also at the middle school?
Yes, so we have, so we run middle school golf in the spring, because we used to run middle school tennis in the fall to kind of separate those. But everything else is the same. So track, baseball, softball, now, like I said, tennis, all happen in the spring. So, yes. And then so tonight we've got a middle school baseball game on our old baseball field, a JV baseball game on our new baseball field, a middle school softball game on our old softball field, and a JV and varsity softball game on the main field. So all 4 fields have something going on, and middle school track is away. Golf is home, so we have golf going on. I think the only team not competing tonight is middle school golf. And if they are, they're away. So a lot going on.
Sounds like it. You keep it all straight, do you?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. So
not at all.
You said it with such confidence.
I have a calendar on my desk. I have the computer with event link, and I have my phone. So, yeah, that's how I keep it straight, Fran.
Okay.
And it doesn't, it's like organized chaos, if that's really truly a thing.
And you handle it so well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Such confidence.
Wake up every morning and try again.
CHS baseball team and the softball team kind of struggling, aren't they?
They got some really tough competition at the beginning of this season, which is, it's nice. I mean, because that's what you're going to see at the end of the season.
Sure.
And so we jumped out with some sectional opponents already. Yorktown, the girls and the boys both played them last week. Didn't necessarily go the way they wanted to, but I think there were some glimmers of hope in both games where the teams came back. East Central, the girls played East Central. That's always a tough conference game.
Yes.
We play them the first week of season almost. So that's a tough one. And then baseball. Batesville's probably one of the toughest teams in our conference in baseball.
Yes.
And yet we played them the first week. So I think, as we get through the season and we start getting into the chunk of it, I think the other teams are going to start kind of evening out. I mean, you're pitching. I mean, you have like 7, 8 different pitchers on our team because you play 3-4 games a week. Who do you put out there? Which pitcher do you pitch against? This one is kind of like playing I don't even know what you call it. Not like checkers, but
chess.
like a strategy game. Yeah, chess. Because if we pitch our number 1 on Monday night, who are they going to pitch Thursday night?
Right.
And then, but we also have a game Wednesday, but we want to win that game. So who do we pitch Wednesday?
Especially with
but also have Thursday.
Yeah, especially with the dynamics of not having a game with a conference.
Yeah.
You want your number
but a
one
sectional
guy.
opponent.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
you want to beat them too.
Yeah, and it's tough because baseball, they started off with that no-hitter, that combined no-hitter, and so that was kind of like, but baseball is a game where, any team can beat anybody at any time. Just one crack at the back could change anything.
Absolutely.
One pitcher can get hot, and one team can get hot. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's the difference, between baseball and softball. Baseball has pitch counts, right? So the kids are only allowed to pitch so many without sitting out so many days. And so the coaches do a good job of keeping track of that and knowing who's available. But softball doesn't have that.
Yes.
Right? Because the motion of the arm in baseball is different, whereas in softball it's normal. And so, you may have the same pitcher in softball all week.
Yeah. Sure.
And if she's throwing well, then that's who you're going to go with. Absolutely. And
that's because that's pitching by definition is pitching. That's what it is.
I think, you're not throwing as many muscles in.
Yeah,
when you're,
just even doing that hurt me. I'm kind of getting worried.
No workman's comp, Ron. You don't get that.
I know. Jeez, old Pete. Well, I have to wear my rotator cuff over here, and this one's,
You just did now?
I just did now.
You just did now. Great.
Just did it.
Well, with these young people, you have to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're not going to tell you when they're sore, or they're not going to tell you when they're done. They just want to play. They're in my office all the time. Are we playing? Well, yeah, we're going to play, but you also need to understand there's some rest that needs to happen. In baseball, softball season, there's really just not. No. Golf, tennis, track, they don't play every day. Tennis does sometimes, but golf and track, they don't really get that every day. You can't do that. You can't have kids going out and sprinting their all and turning. You can, but it's not great.
Tennis, if played at the highest level, can really hurt your ankles, your hips, your wrist. And it's stop and go.
Absolutely.
A lot of times if you're doing drop shots. It's a very physical, demanding sport as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, play 2 to 3 a week. But they play 2 to 3 a week. Golf is just the walking when you have invites every weekend, and then you play, 9 at home, and then 18 on weekends, and they're not allowed to have carts. They gotta hoof it.
It's like the pros do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we hope the kids can turn some of the seasons around. The girls are 3 and 6 right now, I think, and the boys are 2 and 3 on the season. So they have some work to do. Yeah,
work to do, but a very busy week.
Yes.
Boys have Franklin County this week for conference, so that's tonight and Thursday night. I'm trying to think of the girls. I know the girls play Mount Vernon. That's going to be a tough game. That's Wednesday. JV plays Greenfield Central this week. So, it doesn't get any easier. It just really doesn't. I kind of feel bad. And Coach Rubel does that on purpose. Right. He wants them to battle the good teams. And even Coach Coyd, the boys are going to Silver Creek this Saturday. And, Silver Creek used to be a regional opponent. Now with the new classifications, they're not going to be. But again, another 3A opponent that we just couldn't beat.
Right.
There was just something about them. So we're going to go down there and battle them.
You want to play good teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't get better not playing them.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody's working together, though, and they'll bring it all before the season's end.
That is the hope.
We'll be successful.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Right. Well, when the season ends, we go into June and July, summer camp time. Explain what the summer camps are and what happens.
So every coach gets the opportunity to kind of talk about when they want to have their camps. Lucky for me, when I came in, a lot of the teams already had set weeks. We always know boys tennis camp and girls tennis camp is the last week there in May. So right after Memorial Day, it goes Tuesday through Friday. Boys and girls basketball has different weeks for camps. Soccer, I just got one in today for gymnastics. Coach Borders is going to have a gymnastics camp coming up. So all the teams kind of have a chance to pick if they want to have a camp or a clinic or one-day thing or a multiple day. But usually the coaches schedule that. They kind of call into the office, look at EventLink, find out what's open, when things are open, and try not to overlap. I mean, we don't want 3 camps going on from 10 to 12.
Sure.
We want to give the opportunity for kids in the community to come. And then once we get that approval, we send it over to central office, and they kind of approve that they're okay with us putting flyers out, and then we just kind of roll with it. This year, swim camp will take place at the park pool because the pool will still be down for the count. And so the Parks Department has been very gracious to allow us to have camp. It's kind of strange, but from 6 to 8 because we don't want to give up
At night or in the morning?
At night because we don't want to interfere with their operations and their funding. But it would be after, and I've seen it happen before. Heck, I saw the swim, the evening swims take place when I was a kid. So great partnership between them and us to be able to make that happen. So they'll be coming out. Information will slowly start coming home with the little kids in their Friday folders or Thursday folders or whatever they have. And then we always have the information posted in our office.
Some of the camps are at other locations, aren't they? They are all at Connersville.
Most of our camps are on site.
Okay.
If golf would be out at the golf course, sometimes soccer, depending on how big it is. But since I've been here, soccer's been out at the high school since we've got the 2 fields, the practice field and the game field. But yeah, swim is about the only one right now that's off site.
Oh, okay.
Completely off site, unless I'm forgetting something.
And they're during the daylight hours, I assume?
Most of them are all during the daytime hours. I think some go early in the morning. But usually they go anywhere between 8 and 4. That's usually when they stop. Like I said, swim will be a little different, 6 to 8. But most of them are between the 9 and 4 hours, which as a parent, it is kind of hard to get your kid to camp if you work and you have to leave work to go get your kid, take them to camp, and then go pick them back up. But again, everyone pitches in to help. So
this is to keep the kids active and practice actively for the coming season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also gives them a chance to make the relationship with the coaches as well as the kids on the team.
Yeah.
Does the state association get into this, or do they leave that alone?
They pretty much leave it alone. Yeah, that's one thing that they kind of. Yeah, that's one thing that they kind of leave alone. Is camps, because they want those feeder programs to happen and get kids involved as much as possible.
What's the news out of the IHSAA? Anything startling?
Nothing new. The transfer, I have a meeting on Thursday. I guess I say nothing new. They are looking at classifying certain sports as enrollment. So like wrestling is open right now, but they're looking at like a 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A wrestling state
class.
tournament, a class statement or tournament. Same thing with track. So all of those, and tennis. So all of those, sports, basically your individual team sports. So golf, tennis, wrestling, track.
Okay.
They're looking at now making them more of a class system. And so Thursday we are going to be, I have my IHSA meeting. I have 2 a year, the fall, spring. So that's the spring principals meeting. They're going to bring that up. I think it's a push from tennis is the biggest push right now.
The question I've always had or wondered is why football has 6 classes and basketball doesn't.
Well, I just kind of wonder if it's your numbers. Some of your class 6 teams have over 150 kids on their roster.
Oh, is that
right?
Is that
we're considered 4A, and we have 55 or 60.
Right, okay.
And so I think there was just such a gap between some of those bigger schools with so many kids.
So it wasn't necessarily enrollment of class.
I think some of that is. I think some of that is too. Because if you look at the schools that have those numbers,
right. Yeah.
Their enrollment is 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 kids.
Right, but East Central's not that much bigger than we are.
Their enrollment, correct. They're they're about 1,100, maybe 1,200, and we're only 850.
But we're only
so
850?
They are bigger than us, yes.
Wow, I didn't know they were that much bigger than us, yeah.
So, but they're 5A. They're considered 5A.
Well, yeah, that's true,
now.
Yeah.
But, but for them to go from where they're at to play like the Ben Davis and the Warren Centrals, you're looking at 2,500, 3,000
Right,
kids.
but still they have as many kids playing football as
They
probably
do.
Ben Davis.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's just that one sport for the most
exactly,
part.
yeah, because they're
Yeah.
not going to have. So I didn't know that. I didn't know why it was a separation
Sure.
because I kept thinking, well, certainly there's more schools offering basketball than football in
Which
Indiana.
is funny because like football doesn't really limit their roster. I mean, you can only play so many kids, but again, you have offense, defense, special teams, right?
Right, yeah.
So you technically have more kids that get to participate, which allows you to have more kids on your sideline.
Right.
But like basketball, you have five
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you having a roster of 25 kids,
You're not gonna
as
play.
a coach, I'm sorry, because
Right,
you're going to
yeah.
hear about playing time and all
Yeah,
that all
yeah,
year long.
yeah.
But
You're not gonna get all
with
those kids
football,
in.
you have more opportunities
Right,
to get more
right.
kids on the field, and you can have a 1 string, a 2 string, and heck, some of the schools probably have 4 or 5. But
Yeah, especially the teams that win 55-0 at halftime. They're getting their seventh graders on the field.
They're seventh graders
I
digging at the bottom.
Central, yeah.
But that's about the only thing, Fran, that's coming. I think that's coming out new is the conversations about some of those tournaments. I think the tennis coaches are the ones that are having a hard time. I mean, just take example, our sectional. We have Franklin County, Rushville, us, and Union County, and regionals are at Center Grove.
Oh, wow.
So we go from, 4 schools that are fairly small, country kind of schools, and then you go to Center Grove.
Right,
and you could play Center Grove. You could play Perry Meridian,
Right, you go-
Greenwood.
you
Like you're
travel
playing
far
some
away,
of the
too.
bigger schools. And so it's like you get great success playing your sectional, and then it's like, wow, now you're going to play these schools that
Yeah.
are so much bigger than
Playing
you.
in Wimbledon.
So there's really not a gradual, I guess, track.
Right,
And same
yeah.
thing with wrestling. Wrestling is conference and a couple other schools. And then, we do go to Richmond, and Richmond does bring, the Cambridge City and the Eastern Hancock and East Central Lawrenceburg. Those guys came. So again, that regional is pretty good. And then you go to semi-state, which is close, Newcastle, but then you get Pike and Warren Central
Right,
and some of the
yeah.
state contenders there. So, again, to be the best, you have to beat the best. I mean, I
Right.
understand that, but I think some of the coaches are a little tired of getting beat down.
Right,
Let's
yeah.
put it that way.
There's no, like you said, there's no ladder.
Sure.
Get up there. It's,
Sure.
You go from here to,
Yep.
whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So competitive to whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
we can be
yeah.
there, but we're not there. We
Yeah.
don't have the indoor training facilities probably
Right.
like some
yeah.
of them do.
Yeah.
So
Do you go out of town for some of the games, or do you stay close to home?
well, Fran, I am I am able to do it in the fall and the winter because we don't have as many events as frequently.
Yes.
So, for example, during basketball season, we don't usually schedule anything else on Friday and Saturday nights except for basketball. So it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Football season, the only thing during football season on Fridays is football. So it's a little bit easier to do that. In the spring, we have just as many home games as we have away games, and there's just not enough people to supervise our home games. So generally, I'm at the high school. I'm doing some sort of an event. And if
Sure.
it's a Saturday and I've been Monday through Friday, I sometimes want to take a little bit of time for myself. I know that is selfish, but I want to take a little bit of
That
time for
is,
myself. I'll still watch them on Game Changer, or I'll still, if I can see live results on track or whatever, I will watch them. But generally in the spring, I only attend sectionals, like the state tournament thing. So I'll
can't
follow the
believe-
kids to sectionals. I'll follow them to regionals, state, whatever it may be, because I want to be there for them. But I can't be at 2 places at the same
That's
time.
something you really can't. I can't believe you
hard.
admitted that on TV.
Yeah, I know. It's
can't
hard.
believe
I'm
you
sorry.
can't-
If you guys would give me my own airplane, let's go.
right.
Okay.
I mean, I got a
Yeah.
golf cart, so
Yeah.
I mean, a helicopter and airplane would be the next thing.
I'm
and then
shocked
I
at
would.
I'm shocked that you get to places you do, and I'm shocked that even when we're away, you're always asking if we have something that you know. I mean, you're always attentive.
I try to be,
Yeah.
because I want to see the kids. I mean, they work their tails off, and I want to be there to support them
Yeah.
as much as possible. And I'm there in case something happens. Because, there are things that happen at games, and you don't always get the
Right.
full story.
Right.
And so it's nice to be present
Sure.
to see that and to answer questions as well. So, And unfortunately, sometimes kids get hurt, and
Yeah.
the parents are like, take your kid, like, please go take your kid, like,
Yeah.
take them to the hospital if they need stitches. Your
Yeah,
kid's
right.
bleeding from their mouth. Please take them.
They
So
might have a broken leg.
yeah, I'm like, no, let's hope not. But yeah, you might have
like
a broken leg.
Laughlin at the
yeah.
last game of the
You
season.
might.
I ran into him during the JV game. I ran into him after he was kind of happy. I think it's broken. He was telling people. I'm like,
Good thing is, it wasn't.
it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't. But yeah, he was on his crutches. Yeah, I think it's broken. I was talking to Joey about it. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
Let's hope it's not.
jeez.
As the AD, you pick up any ideas from other schools
All the
that you
time.
like and you'd like to implement?
All the time. I think that's the good thing about being in this role is everyone is there to help everyone.
Okay.
I mean, I am a phone call away from 6 or 7 people that I trust. That if I have something that comes up, or I don't know how to interpret this rule, or this is a new thing for me, I'll just pick up the phone. And I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and talk to. I've been on the phone with IHSA almost all morning with the commissioner there, and so I think we beg, borrow, and steal from each other. If I like the way that their field is set up, or I like the way they do their sponsor. I'm not gonna lie, we stole the idea of signs in the bowl from Newcastle. They had their sponsors on those big plaques inside over by one of the concession stands, and I thought, well, how cool is that? Like, we have a wall that doesn't have anything on it, so why not,
Sure.
advertise a little bit more? And then the TVs, that idea came from going to a lot of schools that have one TV in one location with like sponsors and teams and things scrolling. I thought, why can't we do that? We've got room. And so that idea I've been wanting to put in place, and it just happened this year. And so
it was a nice touch.
yeah, and I think it's nice, and people respect it, and they want to know, how can I get my name there? And so yeah, just picking up certain things, or I see a sign that a school has about like foul balls or something, like, ooh, I need those.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great idea. Or, I don't know. I just pick up a lot of things everywhere I go, and rosters. If I get a roster from somewhere, I'm like, ooh, I like how this roster's set up. I'm going to take it back and try to do something like that.
Oh, I love the way our roster's set up.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't ever change it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't make them.
Yeah.
Katrina makes them, but she does a great job.
No, you did a great job.
Don't change it. Ron is used to the roster.
I'm used to it.
And I imagine it works the other way. Some of your ideas are in other schools.
Yeah, absolutely. I get calls a lot about, there's a couple new ADs to the conference. Franklin County, he's in his second year, and, he and I tag teamed a lot last year with some questions, because he had to take over running the conference meetings this year, and I ran them the year before. And so he'd asked me a couple questions. The assistant AD at Richmond, she kind of had to take over when Clay left last year. And so she was on the phone asking some questions about how we ran this, or they'd come to an event and they'd ask questions about hospitality and how that was set up. So, I think it's one of those professions where you want everyone to do well because you know where they're at. You know what situation they're in, how hard it is to do the job. And so you want to make anything as easy as possible for anybody that you can. If it's going to save me 5 minutes, I'm willing to try it.
Yeah.
So
We all know the athletic program is for the kids, and it's for their benefit, to help them to grow up to be good citizens. And that's an important job.
it is. And they, I think the kids take that challenge. We've got some really good kids. We really do. Home and away. I mean, like you said, I travel sometimes with them, and watching other teams run out and how other teams carry themselves, and then watching our kids. I'm like, I would never let our kids get away with that. And then I watch our kids, and I'm like, thank you. Like, thank you for being the right person, or picking another kid up off the ground, or
saw that a lot this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those where it's like, that's the kind of kid I want in our program. Win or lose, those are the kids that we want to send out in the community and in life, because they're going to turn around and do great things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
How are the improvements coming along for various facilities for the athletic program?
Pass.
The football team.
Can I say pass? Can I pass on this one? Well, Fran, I'm glad you asked that question.
I'll bet you
I'm sure you are. I can tell.
How much time do you have, Fran?
We have 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
So, well, we're in a little bit of a bind. The company that was hired, the contractor that was hired, to do the bleachers for track as well as baseball has been kind of MIA. And so they decided that they were going to pour concrete that week before the big storm came through. And that concrete has since settled and is not good.
Oh,
and so the building inspector, who we brought in, basically said, nope. So that concrete is going to have to either be ripped out or they have to dig deeper footers, I guess. I'm not a concrete person, but that sounds like something concrete. So they have to dig bigger footers to put down to stabilize that pad. And then we have a team of engineers now that we are bringing in and a new contractor to hopefully build said bleachers. The bleachers are there. It's just getting them up. But the bleachers and then also the press boxes. So the one contractor that we do have local, he is getting ready to pour the concrete for our shot put and discus because those had to be moved because of the baseball field placements. And so he's been waiting on the ground to dry out because it was really soggy, especially up where the discus was at. So we're hoping Wednesday, Thursday, that concrete will get poured. So then at the first middle school meet home next Tuesday, the kids can actually use it. And so he was calling right before I came on. So hopefully that's what he's calling about.
Yeah.
But he's been doing a fantastic job, and everything that we've asked for him to do has been done great. And all the local people have been great. It's the unfortunate part is, this guy who was supposed to do the bleachers for us has been very distant, and it's caused some issues. So we're looking at going a different direction. So I don't know. We unfortunately lost track boys sectionals this year. Just today, I had to make that decision that we aren't going to be able to host because we won't have seating.
Sure.
Or I can't get to the sound system. So we're working on some alternatives in the meantime. I've kind of been walking around the facility trying to see what we can work with. But the coaches have been fantastic. Like, they get it, and they know we're trying to make the facility better and safer. So again, shout out to all of my spring coaches for bearing with us. I know track coaches are probably more frustrated than anybody because they don't have a really great discus pit right now, and they can only throw when there's not games. So, and then baseball, I know the baseball players have been great. They don't get to be announced. They don't get walk-up songs. We don't even do the anthem. We try to do the pledge, but we don't even do the anthem because we don't have sound out there.
Sing it a cappella.
Yeah, I tried, but no one wants to sing. I'm not singing, but no one wants to try that. So it's coming along, and it'll be there. But right now we're kind of at a standstill, and so it's kind of disappointing. But again, I just have to keep the end goal in mind. Like, it's going to be better. It's going to be safer. Yeah. It's going to happen. Hopefully by the end of the summer, it'll be wrapped up.
Well, hopefully things will be ready when school resumes.
Yeah, it should be. I think that the groups that we're looking at trying to come in and step in will do a great job, but I don't know. I can't make any promises, Fran, and I would love to, but I can't make any promises.
I know the fans understand.
I hope so. I'm trying to listen to their complaints, aka their feedback. So I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen to that. I do have some porta potties coming in today that are supposed to be at the baseball field, so people don't have to walk so far. So I did listen to that. Yeah. Parking, I can't help it. Parking is awful, and I apologize. I wish I could make parking easier, but if you come to baseball games, I'm so sorry. Parking's awful. I'm so sorry.
It's awful.
It is. I'm sorry. You got to walk a little bit, so drop some calories and then go buy some popcorn.
That's right. Right, there you go.
Things will smooth out. Just hang in there, Andrea.
I'm trying. Try to be positive.
You do a great job, and
thanks.
I know the Spartan fans appreciate all that you add to the program, and you work hard to make it comfortable for them.
I try to. I try to do my best.
Thanks, Andrea.
Absolutely.
And thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report.